Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Up till now, we were discussing the theoretical aspects of this course. Now we will start some practical circuits and their analysis. So in this regard, let us take this first simple circuit, a diode RL series circuit. As you can see in the figure, a simple diode connected in series with an RL load, that is, the load consists of a combination of R and L. Diode RL circuit connected with a single phase AC voltage source. This is our main circuit. A diode RL circuit connected with a single phase AC voltage source. IT is the circuit current and V0 is the output voltage. Please note that V0 is the voltage across the load. V0 is the output voltage across the load, and load consists of the combination of R and L both. So V0 is the voltage across the complete load. As you can see that the terminals of the output voltages of the output voltage are located from the top of the load to the bottom of the load across R and L, across the combination of R and L. On the right hand side, you can see the input voltage waveform, sinusoidal AC voltage waveform. One cycle has been shown in the figure from 0 to 360 degree. Its mathematical expression is Em sin omega t, and its maximum positive peak occurs at 90 degree, which is equal to Em. Now in this circuit, what we want to study is the behavior of the output voltage, and obviously the output voltage will depend upon the current IT. So in order to study the output voltage, we have to first study the behavior of current. That is what we will do in the analysis. We will study the behavior of the current. Then with the help of that behavior, we will conclude some justifications about the output voltage. First of all, let us discuss a brief concept, a very important concept about the output voltage. One thing more before I start the analysis. In power electronic circuits, normally we neglect the voltage drops of a conducting device, whether it will be a diode or a thyristor. Normally we neglect the conducting drops of the devices, whether it will be a diode or a thyristor or a transistor. So from now on in all the circuits, we will consider the conducting devices as an ideal with no voltage drop. Normally we neglect the voltage drop. That is why in this circuit we will also neglect the diode drop. So in this regard, by looking at the circuit, you can say that the first point in this slide, as you can see, V0 equal to E. What this means is output voltage will be equal to input voltage as long as the diode is on. As you can see in the circuit, if you apply the KVL, you can observe that the terminals of the output voltage will be same as that of the terminals of the input voltage, but the main condition is that the diode should be on. So in order to find the output voltage, what we can say is simply that the output voltage will be equal to the input voltage, as simple as that. The output voltage will be equal to the input voltage as long as the diode is on. Otherwise, if the diode is off, then the output voltage will be simply equal to 0. Now here the question arises that at what instant the diode will be off. The main, I think what your answer should be is that the diode will be off when a reverse voltage is applied across it. Wrong. The correct answer is the diode will be off when all its current goes to 0. The correct definition of turning off a diode is until and unless all of its current goes to 0, it will be conducting. It will be turned off. A diode will be turned off after all of its current goes to 0. What this means is, for example, as a first case, consider a purely resistive load. Consider that the diode is connected with resistance only. As you know that in a purely resistive circuit, voltage and current are in phase. That is, the current will be 0 exactly when the voltage becomes 0. That is what you can see in the figure. The point which represents the purely resistive point, 180 degree is the point at which the voltage becomes 0. So this is also the point at which the current also becomes 0, because it is a purely resistive circuit. Current and voltage both are in phase. So at exactly the same point at which the voltage becomes 0, current also becomes 0, and since the current is 0 at 180 degree, therefore this is the point at which the diode will be turned off for a purely resistive circuit. That is what it is in the first point. For a purely resistive load, diode will be off at exactly pi 180 degree. Now the second case, for an RL load. Now as you know that in inductor, current lags the voltage. Because of the presence of inductor, current lags the voltage. Lags mean after, lagging behind. It means that in an RL load, the current will be 0 after the voltage becomes 0. After. That is what you can see in the figure. For an RL load, the point of the current 0 occurs after the point of the voltage 0. That is lagging behind. बाद में आता है current का 0 होना. That is what is shown in the figure. For an RL load, the current 0 point occurs after, lags behind the point at which the voltage becomes 0. And similarly, the third case, that is what is written in the second point. For an RL load, the diode will be off after pi. Similarly, in RC load, the third case, since in capacitor the current leads the voltage, leads means current will be 0 before the voltage 0 point. That is what you can see in the figure. For an RC load, the current 0 point exists before the voltage 0 point, because in the RC load, current leads the voltage. And by the way, that is the main reason that the capacitive load is normally avoided in power electronic circuits, because as you can see in RC load, the diode is off before half cycle, before 180 degree. That is, the diode did not even conduct for a half cycle. It will be turned off before 180 degree for an RC load, because in capacitor the current will be 0 before 180 degree, and current 0 means the diode will be turned off. So this is the concept I want to explain, that what is the point at which the diode will be turned off. That will be the point at which the current is zero. Current zero means the diode will turn off, and current zero will occur exactly at 180 degree for a purely resistive circuit, after 180 degree for an RL load, and before 180 degree for an RC load. Now we will move to the analysis. As I have said earlier, that in order to study the output voltage, we have to study the current. Well, in reactive circuits, the total current IT has two components, steady state and transient. And the total current is equal to the sum of these two components. A brief discussion about these two components. What are these? Steady state component is basically a permanent component which will remain as long as the supply is there, whereas the transient component is a temporary component which will finish out, die out after a certain interval of time. That time is called as the time constant, denoted by tau. Time constant can be defined as the time required by a transient to die out. Now basically transient exists because of the presence of inductor. Obviously if there is no inductor, that is for a purely resistive circuit, obviously ITR, transient current, will be 0 and the total current will be simply equal to steady state current, and obviously tau is also equal to 0. Therefore, the value of time constant depends upon the value of L. Larger the value of L, larger will be the value of tau. Smaller the value of L, smaller will be the value of tau. If L is 0, then tau is 0. Now, how to find these two components? First of all, let us discuss steady state component. Steady state component is the normal current which you can find by simply dividing the voltage by impedance. I is equal to V upon R. Normally the equation to find the current is, that is the equation which is used normally to find the steady state component. ISS is equal to input voltage divided by the impedance. Now here impedance is a complex quantity because of the presence of L. You can see the vector diagram, R plus J omega L with an angle equal to theta and magnitude equal to mod of Z. We can write this equation in the form of Em by Z into sine omega t minus theta, where the expressions of theta and mod of Z you can see in the slide. Now to find the transient component, you have to find the roots of the differential equation. Applying KVL to the initial circuit, if you go to our first circuit diode RN and you apply KVL, E is equal to voltage across R plus voltage across L. Again here we have neglected the diode drop. And this E will be equal to Em sin omega t is equal to IR plus LTI by dt. Now here you can see a first order differential equation. What you have to do is to find its root. Since it is a first order equation, it has only one root. If you solve this equation, R plus LT equal to 0, then D will be equal to minus R upon L. That will be called as the root of this equation. Now there is a standard method to represent the transient component, and this is ITR is equal to A e to the power mt, where A is a constant value which can be found by using initial conditions afterwards. Now if you put the value of m, in the previous slide, you have found the value of m is equal to minus r upon L. If you put this value of m in this equation, what you will get is a e to the power minus rt upon L. Now here we can introduce a new parameter which I have defined before, the time constant tau is equal to L upon r. So ITR can be written as a into e to the power minus t upon rho. Now if you see the expression of tau is equal to L upon r, you can appreciate that tau is directly proportional to L, as we have said earlier. Now the complete solution is IT is equal to the sum of steady state and transient. You can add these two components. That is what is written in equation 1. Now here, one object remaining to find the value of A by applying initial conditions, that is at t equal to 0. To find the value of A, apply the initial condition at t equal to 0. The current will be 0. E to the power minus t by 2 will be equal to 1. And you can find the value of n this method, which is comes out to be Em by z sin theta. Putting this value of A in equation 1, you will obtain a very important time dependent equation of current, which is written in this box. This equation, as you can see, obviously composed of two components. Among these, one is the steady state and one is the transient. Always remember that the exponential component is always the transient component. In this equation, IT is the total current which has two components, or rather it is the sum of two components, steady state and transient. Steady state component is given by the equation, transient component is given by the equation. You can see in the slide. Now the next important object is to plot this equation graphically. Let us plot this equation of current IT graphically. There are various steps. I will try to explain each step one by one. First of all, let us rewrite this equation, total current. Now one thing you should remember before moving forward, that steady state current Em upon z sin omega t minus theta is a function of omega t, whereas the transient component I is a function of time, because I transient is an exponential component, and after how much time it will die out. So I transient will be a function of time, whereas since ISS is a sine wave, therefore it will be a function of some angle omega t. Let us start with an arbitrary value of theta equal to 60 degree. You can be asked in exam for any arbitrary value of theta. It could be 30, it could be 60, it could be 45, it could be 90, it could be any value. I will just explain the process for one specific value of theta equal to 60 degree. Now the first step is you have to start the waveform with the input voltage. The first step, the first waveform which you should draw is the waveform of input voltage E. A simple sine wave starting from 0, having its peak value Em at 90 degree. After 180 degree, its half cycle is completed. At 270 degree, its negative peak, and 360 degree, the cycle will be completed. As you can see in the figure, I have on x-axis I have taken equal intervals. Each interval is of 30 degree. I repeat, on x-axis I have plotted omega t, and on x-axis each single interval is equal to 30 degree. Take equal intervals of 30 degree along x-axis for one complete cycle up to 360 degree. This will be our reference waveform. We will draw all the other remaining waveforms with respect to this waveform. Second step, draw the waveform of steady state current. by using theta equal to 60 degree. ISS is equal to Em by Z sine omega t minus theta. Now how you will plot this equation? You can see by the expression of this steady state that it will be a sine wave. Em by Z sine omega t minus theta. It will be a sine wave having a peak value of Em by Z and having a delay of theta 60 degree. That is why you can see that the waveform will have its 0 point at 60 degree. At 60 degree the waveform will start, and after 90 degree of its starting point, I will repeat, the waveform will start at 60 degree because theta is 60 degree. It has a delay of theta 60 degree. It starts at 60 degree and it will have a peak after 90 degree from its starting point. That is 60 degree is the starting point. 60 plus 90, 150 degree. At 150 degree its peak will occur, and its peak will be equal to Em by Z. Em divided by Z. That is why you can see that the level of Em by Z is somewhat lesser than Em. That is why you can see this level Em by Z occurs below Em. Then after peak, this sine wave again comes to 0 again after a delay of 90 degree. Peak occurs at 150 degree. 150 degree after 90 degree, then again its second 0 will come, and this will be equal to at 240 degree. 150 degree, the peak occurs at 150 degree. 150 plus 90, 240 degree will be the second point at which this waveform becomes 0. Then again after 90 degree its negative peak will occur, and 360 degree the cycle will be completed. Now moving backward from 60 degree, you can extend the waveform from theta 60 degree backward to reach the initial value, to complete the waveform till the y-axis, till the waveform reaches the y-axis. Now one important point which will be asked normally, that what is the initial value? What is the initial value of this steady state current? You can see that on y-axis I have mentioned this point boldly. Initial value of steady state current can be found by putting omega t equal to 0 in the equation of ISS. What you will get is minus Em by Z sine theta, and that is the point which you can see in the figure. Minus Em by Z sine theta is the initial point of steady state current. Now the third step is draw the waveform of transient current. We have drawn the waveform of input voltage. We have drawn the waveform of steady state current. Now we will draw the waveform of transient current. Now as you can see, the expression of transient current is of exponential form, negative exponential curve. It starts from a certain positive value and then exponentially decay to 0. And what is its initial value? Again, you can find the initial value by the same process by putting t equal to 0. Yeah, now as I said earlier, that transient current is a function of time. To find its initial value, you can put t equal to 0 to get the initial value of transient current, which is equal to Em by Z sine theta. As you can see in the figure, the transient will start at a positive value which is equal to Em by Z sine theta and then start decaying to 0. Now one more important point, that this Em by Z sine theta lies further below Em by Z, because Em by Z sine theta means theta is 60 degree, and sine 60 degree is obviously less than 1. Then obviously Em by Z sine theta will be lesser than Em by Z. I repeat, Em by Z sine theta will be lesser than Em by Z, because sine theta is sine 60 degree, which is less than 1. Second important point to note, that the initial values This is always the case. This will always the case. Remember that the initial values of steady state current and transient current will always equal and opposite. I repeat this important point, that the initial values of transient current and steady state current are always equal and opposite. Now the fourth step finally is the waveform of total current IT, which is the sum of steady state and transient current. Now how to add the waveforms of steady state and transient current in order to obtain the waveform of total current? Let us consider three cases. First case, at origin, that is an initial point. As I have said earlier, that at initial point the values of steady state and transient current are equal and opposite. So if we add these two values, then their sum is 0. It means that the value of total current will be 0 at origin. This will be our first point, and this is always the case, that at initial point the total current will always be 0. I repeat my point, at initial point, that is at origin, the total current is always 0. Why? Because the reason which I have said earlier, that at origin the values of steady state current and transient current are always equal and opposite. That is why their sum is always 0 at origin, giving a 0 value of total current at origin. This will be our first point. Second case, second point is at omega t equal to theta. You can see in the figure. Second case, at omega t equal to theta. At omega t equal to theta, if you evaluate ISS is equal to Em by Z sin omega t minus theta. So at omega t equal to theta, sin 0 is 0. Steady state current will be 0. So the total current will be simply equal to the transient current. This will be our second point. As you can see in the figure, first point of total current is at origin. Second point is what I have evaluated at omega t equal to theta. As you can see that at theta, omega t equal to theta, steady state current is 0. Therefore, at this point, the total current will be equal to the value of transient current at this point. So this will be our second point. If you join these 2 points, you can draw a very smooth curve from first point to this omega t equal to theta. Now the third case, what will happen after omega t equal to theta? Now as you can see, the third case, after omega t equal to theta, you can observe that the transient current continuously goes to 0. It tends towards 0. So logically, if transient current approaches to 0, therefore the total current will approach to steady state. That is what you can see in the figure. After omega t equal to theta, transient current will approach to 0 and the total current will approach to steady state waveform. Finally, when transient current is 0, then the total current will be simply equal to the steady state current. Finally, at 240 degree, since the current becomes 0, so that will be the point at which the current becomes 0, and that is the point at which the diode is turned off, and it will remain off until the remaining cycle, until the next positive cycle comes again. Now here I have shown boldly with blue ball pen the waveform of total current. With blue pen the waveform of total current. Now this waveform will help you to find the total conduction time of diode. The diode has started its conduction from 0 degree till 240 degree. Now this 240 degree is a specific value only for theta equal to 60 degree. In general, we can say that the total conduction time of diode is from 0 to pi plus theta. The waveform will go ahead after 180 degree depending upon the value of theta. In general, it will conduct from 0 to pi plus theta for whatever value of theta is. Now the final step is to plot the waveform of output voltage. Now, as I have said earlier in the first slide, that V0 is equal to input voltage as long as the diode is conducting, and V0 is equal to 0 when the diode is off. So keeping this point in mind, we can say that the diode is on. We have already calculated the conduction time of diode. It is from 0 to 240 degree. So from 0 to 240 degrees, since the diode is on, so during this period from 0 to 240 degree, the output voltage waveform will be same as that of the waveform of the input voltage. I repeat, from 0 to 240 degree, the waveform of output voltage will be same as that of the input voltage, and after 240 degrees, since the diode is turned off, so the output voltage will be equal to 0. This is what is shown with the red pen, the waveform of output voltage. Now next important thing to be done is to find the average output voltage or a DC output voltage. Normally the DC voltage is calculated by dividing the area with the time period. Total area covered by the waveform of output voltage divided by its time period. Now its time period, as you can see in the figure, time period is basically the duration after which the cycle repeats itself. The new cycle will come after 360 degree, after 2 pi. So its time period will be equal to 2 pi. But remember that this 2 pi is omega t. Omega t is equal to 2 pi. Here in this equation of VDC, we require the time period in time, in seconds. So that is why if omega t is equal to 2 pi, then t will be equal to obviously 2 pi by omega. That is what we will put in place of time period. Now to find the total area covered by the waveform, it consists of the sum of two areas, as you can see in the shaded waveform, A1 and A2, where A1 is a positive area since it exists for a positive voltage for positive y-axis, and A2 is a negative area since it existed because of the negative voltage. It is below the x-axis. It is for negative y-axis. I repeat myself. A1 is the positive area because it exists above the x-axis. It exists for positive values of voltages. A2 is negative area because it exists for negative values of output voltage. Now the remaining analysis is very simple. We will find these two areas separately, A1 and A2, by using the same VTA techniques which I have explained in my previous some lectures. Now if you recall those lectures, those topic about VTA, A1 is the first case of that VTA half cycle, which is equal to 2 Em by omega. A2 is the special case. If you recall the last case among VTA topic, VTA theta, the waveform which starts from 0 until certain angle theta. The expression of which is 2 Em by omega sine square theta by 2. Here a negative sign will be placed because it is the negative area. We will add these two areas, A1 plus A2, to get the total area. Finally, that total area will be divided by the time period to get the expression of VDC. Now, this is a very important equation. which tells us the behavior of a diode RL circuit with an RL load. Its DC output voltage is given by Em by pi 1 minus sine square theta by 2. Now here you can expect some numerical problems. You will be given a certain value of Em, say for example 50 volts. You can given a value of R, say for example 5 ohms. You will be given a certain value of L, say for example 5 millihenry. You will be given a certain value of omega, and you will be required to find the value of VDC. So what you have to do is to put the value of Em in this equation. You have to find the value of theta by using tan inverse omega L upon R. Put that value of theta in this equation and you can find the value of the VDC. This is how the various multiple cycles of output voltage waveform will look like. A continuous repetition of multiple cycles of output voltage you can observe on the oscilloscope for a